Hello, hello, hola, hola, amigos, amigas, bienvenidos, welcome once again to Lima, Peru, and welcome to my home. I am your Lima City tour guide, and well, today I will continue with a previous series I started some days ago related with Cusco and its highlights, its touristic highlights. This series is dedicated to inform, to help you understand what you can see in my country as a visitor, as a traveler. I am transmitting into platforms at the same time on YouTube and on TikTok with the hopes that more people can get to know what I do also here in Lima virtually, like live streaming and talking about history, Peruvian history, untold history, but also helping people to find information in English about, what to do and what to see here in my country. I've been doing live virtual tours since the world pandemic. Well, Back in 2020, as a tour guide, as a professional tour guide, I was not able to work, as you can imagine. Also, the world simply stopped, and my love for history and also to share, Peru, took me also in this path, put me in this path of sharing my country, but virtually. So I have some years already live streaming for different platforms, and now, I try to do it in a more like a, let's say, easy way, and using YouTube and TikTok. So if you wish to see lots of like long, let's say, series I've done, or like events of 1 hour recorded, I highly encourage you to visit my profile on YouTube. You can look for my events just by looking for the channel Peru History Adventures with Vanessa Vasquez. Okay, so I will begin with the sharing of the images I have you. If you've been with me in, let's say, in this series, I've done it live, so probably some of you have been able to see this event when I was live streaming. But if not, that's okay. You can see the recording of this series and also other on YouTube. Okay, not on TikTok because TikTok doesn't like much the too long videos. And I really do long ones, 1 hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes. This is a continuation of a series dedicated to Cusco, and I am from Lima, born, raised in Lima. My specialty is, of course, the city of Lima. But as a tour guide and also tour leader, I've been able to see different beautiful cities in my country, and I had the pleasure of showing travelers from all over the world beautiful Cusco, for example, the beautiful Cusco, in company of course, always local tour guides from the city of Cusco. And also, I've learned quite a lot from my colleagues in Cusco firsthand about, many of these beautiful places. So if you are planning to come to Peru and you want to know like what to do, where to go, where to see, especially in Cusco, go to my previous videos. And also, let's continue with architecture, and in this case, colonial architecture in the city of Cusco. Cusco has like a huge amount of churches, and one of the most impacting element related with these beautiful buildings is the fact that, there you can see like easily the Incan presence, and also the Spanish input right on top, right? So what we are seeing here is the beautiful church of the Franciscans. The Franciscans church is located in a section that was basically developed after the arrival of the conquistadors, like more developed than before. And but we know that there was, of course, Incan presence in this section of the city of Cusco. There's no information about what construction used to be here before the Spaniards, but indeed there is Incan architecture in this part. So, but the highlight about this church and its convent is in the museum of the church, and well, that highlight is basically I'm going to show you. What is the must see element you should see when you come to Cusco inside this religious building is a painting that is known as the largest, is the biggest colonial painting that we have in the country, and probably one of the largest, one of the biggest in Latin America. So this is a monstrous painting, so huge. I mean, just for the size, not for what is painted on it. It's a genealogy. The genealogy of the Franciscans. This strongly reminds me also one painting, also Franciscans genealogy that we have in Lima, in the convent of the Franciscans of Lima. But this one is 12 meters by 9 meters, 12 meters high, 9 meters wide. So it is really huge. And it's like a tree. It has branches and also faces of saints, of important, let's say, representatives of the Franciscan order there. So, and by the way, I'm seeing also some friends joining. Hola, Adrian. Hello. Thanks for joining on YouTube. Gracias, amiga. So, and look also at the rooftop of this edification where the painting is basically like staircase. This is in the, as I said before, in the convent. So on top you can see this pretty like Moorish style rooftop, no, or ceiling. So the Franciscans still actually have let's say lots of presence in our life as Peruvians, basically because of the many beautiful churches they also built during the colonial times, and also their participation in the process of evangelization. So we have now another highlight of Cusco. While you're doing a walking tour in the historic center of Cusco, you have also like gems, like, for example, the Arch of Santa Clara. Hola, Marilu, ¿cómo estás, amiga? Hola, thanks for joining. So, the Arch of Santa Clara or Saint Clair is quite close to the Franciscans Church. It's in between the Franciscans Church and also a school known as Escuela de Ciencias or Colegio de Ciencias. And well, this is also a very old corner of the historic center of Cusco that I also mentioned this in our last meeting, was included in the UNESCO's list of heritage sites in the world. This is a UNESCO zone since the year 1983. So, well, this monumental art piece, this arch, is from the year 1835, and it was made to commemorate a very interesting event in our history. For a very short period of time, for some years, there was a project for uniting the countries of Peru and Bolivia This was after the independence and also the official separation of both nations. In my opinion, Bolivia and Peru, we have so much in common. We have such a common history, as well as also many countries in South America, because we were part at some point of a viceroyalty that eventually was cut in little parts. Sadly, well, our destinies went apart, but there was an intention of reuniting. Also, well, these two nations, and this monument was done to celebrate that occasion. But finally, this project came to an end. Hola, Ivan. Hola. Hi, Vanessa. Oh, gracias. Thank you. Oh my God, thank you. It means a lot. Well, I'm also learning too. I make a lot of mistakes with English. English is, as you can tell, not my first language. But well, there's a say, practice makes the master. So I'm sure you are in a really good pathway also by also trying to improve your English. So I hope I can help you. But I'm sure now, because you're writing really well in English. So thanks for being here, Ivan. Gracias, amigo. So as we continue and walk under this beautiful arch or gate. So far, I know, by the way, like when is something an arch or a gate? Well, a gate, it tends to be not really so like pompous or like historically like an element for celebration. No? So usually the word arch, like arch. Is related with, for example, Arc de Triomphe or Arco de Triunfo, no? So basically, it's more related with a site, a physical place that celebrates an important event. There can be also some, let's say, variations to this rule, but well, the name of this one is Arco de Santa Clara in Spanish, or Arc of San Clara. Okay, so we will continue now next, and if we continue walking in that direction, under the gate or the arch, just a couple of blocks away, you will see the famous Mercado de San Pedro. Gracias, Marilu. Gracias, querida. So the Mercado de San Pedro, the market of St. Peter's Market, receives this name basically because its location really close, very close to a church also named the Church of St. Peter, Iglesia de San Pedro. So also probably related with the atrium or the plaza in front of the church, and then, well, the market located right next to that plaza. Well, it got impregnated also with the name of this space. So, well, this market is a market from the year 1925, even though before the market existed in this location, but the physical building you see there is from the year 1925, and curiously, the building you see there was designed by Gustav Eiffel, the creator of the Eiffel Tower. Also, in Peru, we have some buildings that were influenced by the company of Gustav Eiffel. Eiffel exported also like metallic also receive bridges and receive for these infrastructures to finally like make markets, for example. So this is the case of the Mercado de San Pedro. And once you get inside the market, and this also brings me really nice memories, because the Mercado is so colorful. It feels a little bit industrial inside, with these very high sort of like pillars that support a roof that is a slope roof. It's made to resist the heavy rains that sometimes we have in the Andes. There is a rainy season and a dry season, so it's necessary to make everything prepare for rains. So once you get inside, well, you see this. Let me show you a bit of, well, how is the appearance inside the market. Is so colorful, so lively, so many like locals and tourists also coming for, well, the best juices, also some of the best juices in the city. You can get them here for, let's say, cheapest, and also good quality souvenirs you can get in that area of Cusco, because that zone is, we're talking about a few blocks away, the main square of Cusco. And they are really fancy, like stores, shops where you can get the highest quality of alpaca, baby alpaca, and so on. But if you want to get like some affordable, very, very affordable souvenirs, well, the market of Cusco is also a good alternative. Okay. And also, of course, like you make happy many, many people, many vendors in that location. Okay. Hola, hola, amigos. Gracias. Thanks for the activity here in the chat. It really means a lot to me seeing you like chatting. And also, if you have a question, let me know. Let me know also any question. I'm trying to look at both sides, both apps. So, very good. So let's continue. And well, a little bit about let's say like more civilian architecture. So we've seen churches in the previous life I had. um, I mentioned mainly churches, and I think churches are very important also for the identity of Peruvians. Like it's hard to take out of us or our identities, even though many of us are not Catholic, let's say per se. Like we identify maybe as culturally Catholics, but not religious Catholics. Religion is a really important element in let's say who we are, no? But also the civilian architecture, like the houses, especially domestic architecture, I think is a even better way to say it, is fascinating. And in Cusco, you can see the Spanish influence, and the Incan stone as foundation, like in this case, for example. This is a museum. It used to be the house of the most celebrated, basically, mestizo of our history. A mestizo is a son of a Spanish, in this case, a conquistador of great, great status, and also a princess, an Incan princess. So we're talking about a union of, let's say, cultures in one person and embodied in one person, and also ethnicities. No? So mestizo was someone that was, let's say, a blend of white and indigenous. Okay, and mestizos most of the times were not allowed to embrace openly both, let's say, influences or cultures they had back in the colonial times. Oh, because even though they could be children of even nobility, like in the case of the men who live in this house, they were denied of that, of the satisfaction, let's say, of being proud of that heritage, because the conquistadors imposed their culture, their religion, their way of life. So, well, the person who lived in this house was the Inka Garcilaso de la Vega. His father also was descendant of one of the greatest, most important Baroque writers of Spain, Garcilaso de la Vega. And his mother was a princess, Isabel Chimpuocchio. So here is where he was born. And although he lived shortly, really, in Peru. I mean, he had a very long life, uh, but shortly in Peru because he was taken to Spain by, well, the necessity, not really by his father, but the passing of his father, and also his relatives neglecting him certain rights as a son of Hidalgo and a legitimate son, well, made him travel to Spain. And he lived most of his life in Spain. But his memories, let's say, his constant say need to remember his time in Cusco, in Peru, in the land of his mother, made him later write a book, which also is celebrated as one of the most important, in part, chronicles, and also books related with, well, the life before the conquest. Okay, the royal commentaries of Inka Garcilaso de la Vega. Sorry, I'm taking so long to explain his life and why it's so important. This man, this person, as basically the first mestizo, as we usually call him, the first man who embodied, well, these two, like, influences in one person. But I think that this is a good reason, like all of what I mentioned, for you to visit his home. That nowadays is a museum, is the regional museum of Cusco, very close to the main square of Cusco. And I have an image of how it looks inside. So in the outside, that house also has the Incan stone in the foundation and the Spanish influence on top. That could be, for example, that house, I don't know, in Seville, maybe in Spain. In the inside, we continue carrying this Spanish influence. So we continue seeing these very big, very open patios, these also corridors that also are under a roof, like sort of like balconies looking into the patio inside. That also is seen in many houses, especially in the middle south of Spain. And also the experts say that, well, this is the Moorish influence in first of all in Spain, because there was about almost 800 years of Muslim influence in the Iberian Peninsula that left their footprint in that territory. And later on, the conquistadors, who in some cases were even children of converted Muslims, or Moriscos, no, were converted, that embraced the Catholic faith. They later traveled to the Americas, and they also brought this technique, these artistic values also, and, well, put them in their houses. So that's why Peru, for example, and many important cities of the country built by the Spaniards, established by the Spaniards in an early time of our uh, conquest history, still have this architecture that looks so Spanish. So, well, let's continue. And now, well, a little bit of museums also. We already seen the house of Inka Garcilaso de la Vega. And, well, that's the regional museum of Cusco. This is another museum that is a must if you wish to like visit museums in the city of Cusco. There are many, but I'm going just to choose some for you today. For example, this is the map museum. This is a museum dedicated to pre-Columbian history. So the letters MAP stand for Museo de Arte Precolombino. Okay, MAP. And this museum belongs to the Larco collection that is located in Lima. Larco Museum has a very old history. Originally was created in the north, in the department of La Libertad, very close to Trujillo, basically to the city of Trujillo. And the owner of this museum, this great let's basically collector of moche art. Moche is a culture, or mochica, pre-Hispanic culture. Jose Larco Hoyle realized that, well, his collection, which was really, really big and now has about 45,000 pieces in total, was in such remote location in his hacienda house, like very, very remote from any possible visitors that wanted to see, to reach out, something like this. So that's why initially he moved his collection to the capital, to Lima, in also an hacienda house. It's very curious. A former hacienda house, the Cueva Hacienda, but later, well, he adopted this house and turned it into a museum. And then later, well, the museum administration thought that Cusco needed also a collection, or a piece of the collection from Larco. It's not that there were not enough museums there, but Larco wanted to bring their own vision, focused in, for example, centering into the art pieces, instead of not just the chronology, for example, and let's say the evolution of the art, more like around the storytelling of Larco. So, well, that's how the Art Museum of Pre-Columbian Art Pieces was established. So, well, this is a must visit place in Cusco, and it has an excellent cafe of the highest quality cafe restaurant, of the highest quality that you can also enjoy. Another museum of my selection today for you all is Casa Concha. This house belonged to a marquis who was once governor of Cusco. Again, very close to the main square, and also you can notice the details related with the architecture. So, just for someone who loves architecture, this is another must. But if you love archaeology, well, this is definitely a must, because Casa Concha keeps now a treasure, a national treasure. The pieces that were taken by Hiram Bingham, the explorer and, well, discoverer to the world, let's say, of Machu Picchu. This is also a topic that is quite debated in Peru about the discovery, who discovered Machu Picchu. There are, well, lots of evidences that point out that Machu Picchu was discovered before Hiram Bingham, like put it in the eye of the world in the year 1911. But, well, he has the credit for being the first one who published the information about this site, and also promoted the investigations related with Machu Picchu. So that's basically why Hiram Bingham, of course, is always going to be associated with the scientific discovery of Machu Picchu, the world wonder. But what happens also, and this is the part that tends to feel like a little bit like odd or strange for Peruvians when we think about this man, is that, well, in his missions, like to investigate Machu Picchu, and there were like several. I remember there were so far 3 times he visited Machu Picchu. Was 1911, I think, was like 1912, and then 1915. And in those visits, he took lots of pieces from Machu Picchu to the university that he worked with, and also in a way sponsored his excavations, Yale University. And for many years, the pieces that were taken from Machu Picchu were exhibited at the Peabody Museum that belongs to Yale. So it was really unfair, of course, for Peruvians to not being able to display these pieces in their own home, like in Cusco in this case, no? In Machu Picchu or in Cusco, which is well the capital city of the region. So finally, after lots of work and lots of conversations in the year 2011, the first group of pieces from the Peabody Museum were returned. So basically, Yale accepted the returning of the pieces, and they are here. So far, I remember there are like about 300 pieces in exhibit. Also, there are pieces that are like stored, and Peabody Museum continues keeping a small. So far, they say, a small part of the findings. So, well, now we are definitely happier. And also another museum, this is the Inca Museum, again really close to the main square of Cusco. And well, the Inca Museum was created in well, another colonial house. And well, this house, this museum, is home of a huge collection of Incan and also some pre-Incan objects, but mainly Incan. And by the way, they have the biggest collection in display of queros. If you don't know what is a quero is a ceremonial, let's say, like cup, like the one you're seeing in the upper part of the picture. And well, those were extremely important